You've been playing the wrong game. Every time you softened your voice hoping they'd like you, every time you explained yourself when no explanation was owed, every time you shrunk so someone else could feel tall, you were bleeding power. And they watched you do it. They smiled, they nodded, and behind your back, they dismissed you. Because the world doesn't reward those who beg for a seat at the table. It rewards those who build their own table and make others ask permission to sit. Welcome to Mind Plico. Tonight, we're not here to make you pleasant. We're here to make you undeniable. Machiavelli understood something 5 centuries ago that most people still haven't grasped. The man who seeks approval hands his power to everyone around him, while the man who commands respect keeps his power locked in his chest like a loaded weapon. This is not about becoming cruel. This is about becoming calculated. Are you tired of being liked but not feared? Appreciated but not valued? Then drop in the comments. I answer to no one. Let's begin. Number 1, the approval trap. Why needing validation destroys you. Here is the truth nobody told you. The moment you need something from someone, you become their prisoner. And approval is the most dangerous need of all. It's invisible, it's addictive, and it hollows you out from the inside while you smile on the outside. Think about what happens when you seek approval. You watch their face for reactions. You adjust your words mid-sentence. You laugh when nothing is funny. You agree when you don't believe. You become a mirror reflecting what others want to see. And in the process, you erase yourself completely. This is not connection. This is spiritual suicide performed slowly, publicly, and with a desperate grin. Machiavelli wrote that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But understand the deeper meaning. He was not celebrating cruelty. He was exposing a brutal truth about human nature. Love is conditional. Love is fickle. Love evaporates the moment you are no longer useful. But respect, rooted in strength, in boundaries, in unshakable self-possession, that endures. Here is your first blueprint principle. Stop performing for people who haven't earned the show. Your energy is finite. Your attention is currency. Every time you spend it seeking validation from those who don't matter, you bankrupt yourself for moments that do. The strong do not audition for roles in other people's lives. They cast their own story and let others apply. Starting today, observe yourself. Count how many times you seek agreement. Notice when you soften a truth to avoid friction. Track every moment you abandon your position to keep peace. Write it down. Study it. Because awareness is the first weapon. You cannot kill what you cannot see. Drop in the comments now. My validation comes from within. Number 2, the architecture of respect. What it actually takes. Respect is not a gift. It is a structure you build brick by brick through deliberate action, strategic silence, and relentless consistency. Most men wait for respect to arrive like a package at their door. They wait forever because respect is not delivered, it is engineered. Understand the architecture. The foundation is self-respect. You cannot demand from others what you do not give yourself. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you crack the foundation. Every time you tolerate disrespect, you invite more of it. Every time you abandon your standards for convenience, you teach the world exactly how to treat you. People do not respect those who do not respect themselves. This is law. The walls of respect are built with boundaries, not aggressive declarations, not emotional outbursts. Boundaries are calm, clear, non-negotiable lines that you enforce through action, not words. When someone crosses your boundary, you do not argue. You do not explain. You simply remove access. Silence communicates what speeches never could. Withdrawal teaches lessons that confrontation never will. The roof of respect is competence. You must be undeniably good at something, dangerous in your skill, irreplaceable in your value. When you possess mastery, you no longer chase respect. It chases you. People tolerate arrogance from the exceptional. They despise confidence from the average. Become exceptional first. Then watch how differently the world responds. Here is your blueprint action. Identify one area where you have been soft with yourself, one promise you keep breaking, one boundary you refuse to enforce, one skill you abandoned halfway. Attack it this week with ruthless discipline. Build one brick, then another. Respect is not built in grand gestures. It is built in private victories no one sees. Number 3, the power of strategic silence. Let them wonder. Weak men fill silence with noise. They over-explain, overshare, and over-justify until their words become worthless. They speak to comfort themselves, not to communicate. And every unnecessary word leaks power like blood from an open wound. The strong understand something different. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is gravity. When you speak less, each word carries more weight. When you reveal less, people lean in closer. When you explain nothing, you become impossible to predict. And unpredictability is the currency of power. Machiavelli knew that the prince who is easily read is easily defeated. Mystery is armor. Silence is strategy. Let them fill the void with their assumptions while you observe, calculate, and move, only when movement serves you. Here is what silence does. It forces others to reveal themselves. While you remain still, they talk. They expose their insecurities, their agendas, their weaknesses. The man who masters silence masters information. And information is the ultimate weapon. You learn nothing while your mouth is open. You learn everything while it is closed. Silence also communicates dominance without aggression. When someone insults you and you respond with quiet eye contact, you unsettle them more than any comeback ever could. When someone demands a reaction and receives none, they question their own power. Your stillness becomes their torture. Your calm becomes their chaos. Here is your blueprint action. For the next 7 days, practice deliberate silence in conversations. When you feel the urge to fill the gap, resist. When you want to defend yourself, pause. When you want to impress, withhold. Observe how people respond differently. Notice who becomes uncomfortable. Notice who respects you more. Train yourself to be comfortable in the void others fear. Drop in the comments, silence is my weapon. Number 4, emotional detachment, the cold throne of self-mastery. Your emotions are not your enemy, but your slavery to them is. The man who reacts to every provocation, who rises to every bait, who lets anger, fear, or desperation steer his decisions. That man is a puppet, and everyone around him holds the strings. Machiavelli observed that men who cannot control themselves will always be controlled by those who can. Emotional detachment is not about becoming heartless. It is about becoming ungovernable. Understand what happens when you react emotionally. You reveal your pressure points. You show exactly where to strike. You hand your opponents a map to your destruction and thank them for the opportunity. Every outburst is intelligence delivered to your enemies. Every emotional display is a confession of weakness. The cold man gives nothing away. He absorbs impact without visible damage. He processes in private and responds with precision in public. This is the cold throne of self-mastery. It is lonely, it is uncomfortable, and it is where kings sit. Detachment does not mean you feel nothing. It means you choose when and how your feelings influence your actions. There is a space between stimulus and response. Weak men have no space. The event happens, the reaction explodes. Strong men expand that space into a fortress. They observe the emotion, name it, examine it, and then decide whether it deserves expression. Most of the time, it does not. Here is the brutal truth. People will test you. They will provoke you deliberately to see what you are made of. Colleagues, competitors, even those closest to you, will push buttons to measure your limits. When you remain unmoved, you pass the test. When you erupt, you fail publicly, and they file that information away for future use. Every time you lose composure, you lose leverage. Here is your blueprint action. Create a personal protocol for emotional triggers. Identify the 3 situations that most reliably hijack your reactions. Write them down. Now design a response ritual. It could be a breath pattern, a physical anchor, a phrase you repeat internally. When the trigger arrives, execute the protocol before any external response. Train this until it becomes automatic. The goal is not suppression. The goal is sovereignty over your internal state. Practice this daily. Emotion will knock at the door. You will decide whether it enters. That decision is the difference between a man who commands his life and a man commanded by everything around him. Number 5. The law of scarcity. Become rare or become forgotten. Everything abundant becomes worthless. Water in the ocean, sand in the desert, and men who are always available, always agreeable, always present. The world does not value what it can easily access. The world obsesses over what it cannot have. This is the law of scarcity. And until you understand it, you will remain common in the eyes of those whose respect you seek. Think about how you have been operating, always answering immediately, always saying yes to every invitation, always making time for people who would never rearrange their schedule for you. You believed this made you valuable. It made you furniture, familiar, functional, and completely ignorable. People do not treasure what they take for granted. They treasure what they fear losing. If there is no fear of losing you, there is no urgency to value you. Machiavelli understood that presence must be strategic. The prince who is always visible becomes part of the scenery. The prince who appears selectively becomes an event. Your attention should feel like a privilege, not an entitlement. Your time should feel like a gift, not a guarantee. When you pull back, you create vacuum, and vacuum creates desire. This is not manipulation. This is understanding human psychology at its core. Scarcity applies to your words, your energy, your emotions, and your access. Do not give comprehensive answers when fragments will suffice. Do not pour yourself into people who offer you drops in return. Do not be the one who always reaches out, always initiates, always carries the weight of connection. Let others feel your absence. Let them wonder. Let them work. Those who do not pursue you when you step back have shown you their true valuation. Believe them. Here is your blueprint action. Audit your availability this week. Identify 3 people or situations where you have been excessively accessible. Reduce your responsiveness by half. Do not announce it. Do not explain it. Simply become less available and observe the shift in how they treat you. Notice who increases their effort. Notice who disappears. Both responses contain truth you need to see. Rarity is not arrogance. Rarity is self-preservation. You cannot pour endlessly from an empty vessel. Protect your presence like the finite resource it is. Become the man people hope to hear from, not the man they expect to tolerate. Drop in the comments. I am the prize. Number 6. Reputation as armor. Craft the image that protects you. You do not get to choose whether you have a reputation. You only get to choose whether you control it. Right now, people are telling stories about you. They are defining you in rooms you have never entered. They are forming opinions based on fragments, assumptions, and the narratives of others. If you are not actively shaping your reputation, someone else is shaping it for you, and they do not have your best interests in mind. Machiavelli was ruthless on this point. Reputation is the cornerstone of power. It precedes you into every room, every opportunity, every relationship. A strong reputation opens doors before you knock. A weak reputation closes them before you arrive. The man who ignores his reputation gambles with his future. The man who cultivates it strategically stacks the deck in his favor before any game begins. Understand the mechanics. Reputation is not built on what you say about yourself. It is built on what others say about you when you are not present. This means your actions must be consistent, visible, and aligned with the image you want to project. Every interaction is a data point. Every decision is a brushstroke. Over time, these accumulate into a portrait that either elevates you or buries you. There is no neutral. There is only intentional or accidental. Choose the attributes you want associated with your name. Reliability, competence, strength, integrity, danger, whatever serves your path. Then engineer every visible action to reinforce those attributes. Do not contradict your image with careless behavior. Do not let momentary emotions sabotage years of careful construction. One public failure can undo 100 private victories. Guard your reputation like a fortress under constant siege, because it is. Here is the darker truth. Sometimes you must let others underestimate you. A reputation for being harmless can be strategic when you are surrounded by threats. Let them believe you are less than you are. Then strike when they least expect. Reputation is armor, but it is also camouflage. The wise man knows when to display strength and when to conceal it. Here is your blueprint action. Write down 5 words you want people to use when describing you. Now, audit your recent behavior. Does it align with those words? Identify one action this week that publicly reinforces your desired reputation. Make it visible. Make it undeniable. Reputation is built in moments. Choose yours deliberately. Not every insult requires a response. The master strategist knows when to strike hard, when to wait patiently, and when to walk away entirely. This discernment separates the powerful from the perpetually exhausted. Machiavelli warned against unnecessary wars. Every conflict has a cost: energy, time, reputation, resources. Before you engage, you must calculate whether victory is worth the price. Some enemies are beneath your attention. Engaging them elevates their status while draining yours. Some battles are unwinnable regardless of your strength. Fighting them is ego, not strategy. And some conflicts are traps designed to pull you into terrain where your advantages disappear. The wise man sees the trap and sidesteps, while the fool charges in and wonders why he lost. However, there are moments when confrontation is not optional, when your boundaries are violated publicly, when your reputation is attacked in ways that cannot be ignored, when weakness would invite further aggression. In these moments, hesitation is suicide. You must respond with overwhelming force, not from anger, but from cold calculation. The goal is not to win the battle. The goal is to make future battles unnecessary. When you strike, strike so decisively that observers think twice before testing you again. Mercy is for after victory, never before it. Timing is everything. The amateur reacts immediately, fueled by wounded pride. The master waits for the optimal moment when his enemy is exposed, overconfident, or distracted. Patience is not passivity. Patience is the predator watching from the shadows, conserving energy until the perfect strike presents itself. Your enemy will make mistakes. They always do. Wait for the mistake, then exploit it without hesitation. Here is your blueprint action. Think of a current conflict in your life. Ask yourself 3 questions. First, is this battle worth winning? Second, can I win it with acceptable cost? Third, is now the optimal time to engage? If any answer is no, hold your position. Conserve your power for wars that matter. If all answers are yes, plan your strike with ruthless precision. Prepare thoroughly, then execute without mercy. Drop in the comments, I strike when I choose. Number 8, the inner circle. Trust few, need fewer. Loneliness is not your enemy. Misplaced trust is. The man who surrounds himself with many friends often surrounds himself with many liabilities. Every person you allow into your inner world becomes a potential witness to your weakness, a possible leak of your strategy, and a future threat if loyalty fades. Machiavelli observed that men are ungrateful, fickle, and deceitful. This is not cynicism, this is observation, and the man who ignores observation invites betrayal. You do not need many people. You need the right people. The difference between a powerful inner circle and a dangerous one is not size, but selection. Most men accumulate friends based on convenience, proximity, and shared entertainment. This is how you build a social life. It is not how you build an empire. Your inner circle must be chosen with the same ruthless scrutiny you would apply to hiring a general for your army, because in many ways, that is exactly what you are doing. Here are the qualities that matter. First, loyalty under pressure. Anyone can stand beside you in sunshine. The test comes when storms arrive. Has this person proven themselves when there was nothing to gain and everything to lose? Words are worthless. History is everything. Second, competence that complements yours. Surround yourself with people who are strong where you are weak. An inner circle of identical minds creates blind spots. An inner circle of diverse strengths creates coverage. Third, ambition that does not threaten yours. Your allies should be hungry, but not for your position. The man who secretly wants what you have will eventually reach for it. Watch for envy disguised as friendship. It is the most dangerous mask of all. Guard your vulnerabilities fiercely. Even within your inner circle, compartmentalize information. Not everyone needs to know everything. Share struggles strategically. The moment you become emotionally dependent on someone, you hand them power over you. Dependence is weakness dressed in the costume of connection. Value your allies deeply, but never need them desperately. The distinction is survival. Periodically audit your circle. People change. Circumstances shift. The loyal friend of 5 years ago may be the liability of today. Do not cling to relationships out of history when the present no longer justifies them. Sentimentality has destroyed more powerful men than any external enemy. If someone no longer serves your mission or has shown signs of disloyalty, create distance. You do not owe explanations. You do not owe second chances. You owe yourself protection. Here is the hardest truth. Sometimes you must walk alone. Seasons will come when no one around you is worthy of your trust. In those seasons, solitude is not failure. Solitude is fortress. The man comfortable in his own company cannot be manipulated through loneliness. He cannot be rushed into poor alliances out of desperation. He waits until the right people appear rather than settling for the available ones. Here is your blueprint action. List the 5 people closest to you. For each one, answer honestly. Have they proven loyalty under pressure? Do they strengthen your weaknesses? Do they harbor envy toward your position? If any answer concerns you, begin creating strategic distance this week. Protect your inner world like the throne room it is. Not everyone deserves entry. Number 9, the discipline of relentless self-improvement. Become dangerous daily. Respect cannot be demanded from a foundation of mediocrity. You can learn every strategy, master every psychological principle, and execute every power move flawlessly. But if you are not genuinely formidable, the facade will eventually collapse. True authority is not performed. It is earned through relentless self-improvement that transforms you into someone who cannot be ignored. The man who sharpens himself daily becomes a blade the world cannot afford to disrespect. Machiavelli admired the prince who never rested on inherited glory, but constantly expanded his capabilities. Stagnation is regression disguised as stability. While you remain comfortable, others are evolving, learning, acquiring skills that will eventually be used against you or ahead of you. The competitive landscape does not pause for your convenience. Every day you fail to improve is a day someone else gains ground. This is not paranoia, this is arithmetic. Your body is the first domain of discipline. A weak body houses a weak presence. When you are physically strong, you carry yourself differently. You occupy space with authority. You communicate non-verbally that you are not to be trifled with. This is not vanity. This is strategy. Train your body with the same seriousness you would train for war, because in many ways, life is war. The man who cannot endure physical discomfort will crumble under psychological pressure. Build your tolerance for pain deliberately. It will transfer to every other arena. Your mind is the second domain. Read voraciously. Study history, psychology, strategy, economics, and human nature. Every book is a mentor available for the price of attention. The man who stops learning stops leading. Develop your analytical abilities until you can see patterns others miss, anticipate moves others cannot fathom, and solve problems others flee from. Mental sharpness is the sword that cuts through every obstacle. Sharpen it daily without exception. Your skills are the third domain. Identify the abilities that directly increase your power and value in the world. Then pursue mastery with obsessive focus. Generalists are replaceable. Specialists command premium respect. Become so skilled in your chosen domain that removing you would create a vacuum impossible to fill. This is leverage that no social strategy can replicate. Competence at the highest level is its own authority. Discipline is the thread connecting all three domains, not motivation, which is fleeting and unreliable. Discipline means executing your improvement protocol regardless of mood, circumstance, or convenience. The man who only works when inspired remains amateur forever. The professional shows up daily whether he feels like it or not. This consistency compounds over months and years into a version of yourself that current you cannot even imagine. Here is your blueprint action. Design a non-negotiable daily protocol covering body, mind, and skill. Keep it simple enough to execute without willpower battles. 30 minutes of physical training, 30 minutes of reading, 30 minutes of deliberate skill practice. 90 minutes total that will separate you from 90% of men within 1 year. Begin tomorrow, not next week, not next month. Tomorrow. Dangerous men are built in the unglamorous hours no one applauds. Drop in the comments. I am built daily. Number 10. The Machiavellian Code. Final transformation into the untouchable. You have now received the blueprint. But knowledge without application is entertainment. And you did not come to mind plico to be entertained. You came to be transformed. Everything you have heard tonight means nothing if tomorrow you return to the same patterns, the same weaknesses, the same desperate chase for approval from people who do not matter. The question is not whether you understand. The question is whether you will execute. Let me remind you what is at stake. Every day you spend seeking validation is a day stolen from your legacy. Every moment wasted performing for unworthy audiences is a moment your true potential rots unused. You have one life, one finite window to become the man you were built to be. And that man does not beg, does not explain, does not shrink. That man commands rooms with his presence, silences doubt with his competence, and earns respect through the cold architecture of how he exists in the world. The Machiavellian Code is not a set of tricks. It is a philosophy of self-sovereignty. It demands that you place your mission above your comfort. It demands that you choose respect over likability every single time they conflict. It demands that you become a student of human nature so thorough that manipulation becomes impossible against you because you see every move before it lands. This path is not easy. It is not soft. It is the path of the dangerous man who refuses to be ordinary. From tonight forward, you operate differently. You speak less and observe more. You guard your emotions like state secrets. You enforce boundaries without negotiation or apology. You cultivate scarcity in your presence and abundance in your value. You build your inner circle with ruthless selectivity. You improve relentlessly until mediocrity becomes physically impossible for you. You confront when necessary, retreat when strategic, and always maintain the cold throne of self-mastery above the chaos of external events. The world will test you. People will attempt to pull you back into approval-seeking patterns. They will call you arrogant for having standards. They will call you cold for having boundaries. They will call you difficult for refusing to shrink. Let them talk. Their opinions are background noise to the man on a mission. You answer to no one but the vision of who you are becoming. That is the only authority that matters now. Measure every decision against them. Let them become the operating system that runs beneath your every action. A man with a code is anchored. A man without one drifts wherever the current pushes him. You came here seeking something. You found it. Now become it. Drop in the comments one final time. The code is mine. Share this with one person who is ready to stop seeking approval and start commanding respect. They will thank you, and so will the future version of themselves. Until next time, stay dangerous, stay sovereign, and remember, respect is not requested. It is commanded.